With the wild and unprecedented popularity of Hollow Knight and its sequel, Silksong, the Metroidvania genre is more popular than it has ever been, with many new games coming out for this genre in the hope of leeching off this new winning formula. That previous negative statement is aimed at lazy louts that are just blindly mimicking whatever is popular. I'm actually really happy and excited about this new state of the industry. We're seeing a rise in indie development, B-team studios, and retro revivals. So in the spirit of this new age of games, I want to share with you 12 dark 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania hidden gems that flew under everyone's radar. The Last Faith, Kumi Souls Games 2023. Kumi Souls Games created a harrowing blend of Victorian horror and dark fantasy with The Last Faith. You play as Eric, an amnesiac warrior struggling with a deteriorating mind and a terminal affliction. His quest pits him against ancient religions, cosmic deities, and a city consumed by madness. And this setting heavily reminded me of Bloodborne. And like Bloodborne, the lore unfolds through cryptic dialogue and hidden items. You have a varied arsenal ranging from traditional swords and axes to arcane spells and offhand firearms. Like any other Metroidvania, traversing the map has standard progression upgrades, such as a magical double jump in order to reach new areas. I do love the art here. It's very detailed and artistic, leaning heavily into a macabre pixel art style that drips with atmosphere. Environments are beautifully rendered, transitioning smoothly from snow-dusted mountain peaks to decaying manors filled with reflective mirrors. Intricate background animations give the stages depth and life, and the monsters and characters are also extremely detailed and have many animation states and fluid animations, making this a rather high-quality artistic game. Vigil, The Longest Night, Glass Heart Games 2020. Glass Heart Games created a world of cosmic horror and endless darkness with Vigil, The Longest Night. You step into the boots of Lila, the last member of the Vigilant Order, who returns to her rural hometown of May to search for her missing sister. In doing so, she comes face to face with grotesque monstrosities and an ancient curse that has blotted out the sun. The game is heavily inspired by Salt and Sanctuary, mixed with Taiwanese folklore. The combat is practically lifted from Salt and Sanctuary, with stamina management and deliberately timed dodges. You wield up to 4 distinct weapon types, each with different patterns and stats, with daggers, heavy halberds, standard swords, and a bow for ranged encounters. Each weapon has its own skill tree, allowing for build crafting into your favorite style. The map is, of course, interconnected, allowing for exploration to reveal hidden armor sets and upgrades, which allow the player to reach new areas. I really like the hand-drawn art style, with everything retaining a sort of paper-like texture that makes the world feel more organic, like novel illustrations come to life. Ghost Song, Old Moon 2022. After a decade in development, Ghost Song, developed by Old Moon, was finally released as one of the most atmospheric and emotionally powerful Metroidvanias in years. Waking up as a forgotten dead suit on the desolate moon of Lorien, you play as a Mega Man-like character with the haunting vibes of Super Metroid and a Dark Souls-like narrative, focusing heavily on isolation and uncovering ancient mysteries. It's a genre mix that works incredibly well, aided by this extremely beautiful yet haunting artwork. This game has an interesting combat loop where the ranged attacks empower the melee, because your primary weapon, the arm cannon, builds up heat as you fire. Instead of an overheat penalty as you expect, the heat actually makes your physical melee strikes significantly more powerful. This incentivizes a push-forward gameplay style where you must rush towards enemies, firing at them to soften them up, then finish them off with a melee. Visually, the game is artistically beautiful, with hand-drawn art that makes the fungal caverns and alien structures of Lorien feel wondrous yet somber, with this dark sci-fi gothic story. The Tarnishing of Juxtia, Actual Nerds 2022. I love the name of this developer, Actual Nerds. I find that pretty funny. In the Tarnishing of Juxtia, you enter the ruined remains of two divine kingdoms as the final creation of a dying goddess. Your purpose is to cleanse the land of a supernatural plague known as the Tarnishing, a wicked force that twists its victims into grotesque abominations. As a nameless warrior, this quest forces you to traverse decaying environments while hunting down corrupt saints and fallen gods. Although it seems like the same stamina-based combat as the last 3 games on this list, there is an aggressive twist here. Landing consecutive strikes triggers an energy rush, granting a temporary boost to your stamina and mana regeneration. A risk-reward system and a push-forward style combined with Souls-like combat? I honestly can't believe it works as well as it does. Also, defeating major enemies rewards you with relics that can be charged to unleash ultimate attacks. It has a beautiful pixel art style with really nice particle effects. There are 15 imaginative fantasy environments to explore, each showcasing excellent background depth with multiple parallaxing layers. 3000 Duel Neo Popcorn 2019. Amnesia is a popular trope of these games. It seems as 3000 Duel by Neo Popcorn has you taking control of a masked protagonist with a wiped memory guided by a mysterious voice in your head. You are on a quest to uncover your true identity, battling through hordes of monsters to do so, ultimately leading to a terrifying revelation about who you really are. The gameplay merges standard platforming progression with punishing stamina-based combat. Your arsenal is divided into 3 categories: rapid striking blades, heavy broadswords, and long-reaching lances, offering different gameplay styles to suit your taste. Mastering precise dodges is essential to beat the game, as the enemies and bosses deal massive damage and require pattern recognition to defeat. Aesthetically, the game is really weird. It's a clash of 2D and 3D, cartoonish with grimdark, gothic aesthetics. The player character almost looks like a chibi with his massive head. The monsters and NPCs are 3D models with cartoonish proportions and a low poly aesthetic. The environment is a 2D tile map, and the background elements are a blend of 2D sprites and 3D assets, creating a strange and disjointed world. Souldiers Retroforge 2022. Developed by Retroforge, Souldiers starts with you being caught in a massive earthquake during a military campaign, and your entire battalion becomes hopelessly trapped underground. You all find yourselves in Terra Gaia, a mystical realm resting on the edge of the afterlife. The premise is a bizarre situation where you and your comrades are neither truly alive nor dead, tasked with finding the guardian of this world to secure a way back home. The story unfolds through direct interactions with your fellow trapped soldiers and the strange inhabitants of this purgatory-like dimension. At the beginning of the game, you must select one of 3 classes: the melee-focused scout, the ranged archer, or the spell-slinging caster. This choice is permanent and fundamentally changes your approach to encounters, as each class utilizes a completely distinct moveset and dedicated skill tree. There is also a dynamic elemental system where you collect various orbs that you can swap on the fly for puzzles or in combat. This is a highly detailed 16-bit pixel art style, with the environments packed with meticulous background animations like tiny creatures scurrying about, bringing the world to life. Cookie Cutter Subcult Joint Limited Rogue Games 2023. Cookie Cutter is an aggressive brawler platformer from Subcult Joint Limited. Cherry is an advanced android who is violently dismantled by a tyrannical corporation called Infonet. After a renegade mechanic repairs her, she embarks on a rampage through a massive dystopian megastructure to rescue her creator and romantic partner, Dr. Shinji. Alongside Cherry is an eccentric cast of rebels, giving the setting a punk rock attitude. Combat emphasizes hyper-violent brawling and close-quarters executions. You acquire tools like chainsaws and mechanized fists to bypass obstacles, but the core focus remains on managing a shared resource called Void Energy. Landing melee strikes generates this fuel, which is then spent on special attacks or healing. Staggering foes allows Cherry to perform gruesome, over-the-top finishing moves that replenish resources. The hand-drawn comic book style is reminiscent of Jamie Hewlett's illustrations. He's the artist behind The Gorillas. There are many characters and enemies, each with highly detailed animations, making the game feel like a high-budget cartoon. There is a lot of punk humor and tones with the entire thing, and the game is filled with that personality. Eterna Noctis, Eternum Game Studios 2021. Banished by the supreme god Chaos, the King of Darkness must reclaim his throne in Eterna Noctis by Eternum Game Studios. You play as this fallen monarch cursed to fight the Queen of Light for all eternity. It's an inversion of the classic clash between good and evil, but conversations with loyal subjects reveal your character is a reluctant anti-hero rather than a pure tyrant. This title has an extreme focus on precision platforming, playing more like Celeste than anything else. You eventually unlock tools like the Crystal Arrow, allowing you to instantly swap positions with your projectile. There is still combat with a branching skill tree, letting you invest points into melee damage, magic casting, or survival attributes. For players seeking maximum punishment, an optional Noctis mode adds extra environmental traps and brutal jumping puzzles to the map. The art style has a hand-painted quality, and everything has super smooth motion and scrolling, which is good, because the game can be a bit of a visual overload at times. I also like the environments as you progress from quiet graveyards to cosmic planetoids. It's a great sense of scale. Astalon, Tears of the Earth, Labs Works 2021. Labs Works brings us a retro throwback game with Astalon, Tears of the Earth. You're a group of 3 heroes, Arias the fighter, Algus the wizard, and Keely the rogue, who enter the Tower of Serpents seeking a cure for their poisoned water. They made a pact with Epimetheus, the Titan of Death, allowing the trio to endlessly reincarnate upon defeat. I love how the lore unfolds organically through campfire conversations between the party members, providing a sense of camaraderie and developing their personalities as they climb higher into the spire. Speaking of the team, you must switch between the 3 adventurers at resting spots to solve environmental puzzles. Furthermore, the progression loop incorporates light roguelite elements, as when the party falls, you're sent back to the entrance where you spend collected souls to purchase permanent stat upgrades. The game captures the golden era nostalgia of 8-bit platformers, especially late NES classics. The animations are super fluid, and different areas of the tower use different palettes, a very cool way to break up the map and make it easier to navigate, while also relieving visual repetition. Death's Gambit Afterlife, White Rabbit 2021. White Rabbit brings us Death's Gambit Afterlife, a dark fantasy epic where you act as an agent of death, tasked with invading the immortal kingdom of Cyrodiil to destroy the very source of eternal life. The themes here revolve around the heavy price of immortality, as the world's inhabitants have slowly gone mad from centuries of endless resurrection. Conversations with quirky NPCs and the surprisingly humorous banter from death provide a strong narrative support to this conceptually messed up journey. In the beginning, you select one of 7 classes, such as a magic-wielding wizard or an aggressive blood knight who regains health by retaliating quickly. You can later multi-class and invest points into expansive talent trees, allowing for D&D-like build crafting. Also, defeating major foes unlocks Heroic Mode, which lets you challenge significantly harder versions of those same bosses for exclusive rewards. The game has extremely detailed pixel art that feels like it's been hand-painted, then de-resed into this style. It's certainly a unique blend of bespoke drawn tween frames and a unique rendering style. The Last Case of Benedict Fox, Plot Twist 2023. Entering a 1920s Art Deco mansion, Plot Twist introduces us to the Lovecraftian world of The Last Case of Benedict Fox. You take on the role of a self-proclaimed detective bound to a demonic entity. Tasked with solving the murder of a young couple and locating their missing child, your demonic companion allows you to dive into the corrupted memories of the recently deceased. This mechanic transports you into Limbo, a surreal manifestation of victims' traumas, similar in concept to the palaces from Persona. There isn't much combat, as enemies are few and can quickly become annoying, as you don't really have much when it comes to combat abilities. You use basic knife attacks, combos to change a flare gun and fire it. The main focus of this game is platforming and puzzle solving, such as deciphering complex ciphers using a mechanical device, solving mathematical riddles, and using hidden codes. I do love the moody, Burton-esque aesthetic with great character designs and interactive dynamic menus. It's a 3D game presented as 2.5D, which can cause some issues, as sometimes have mistaken background or foreground decorations as part of the map. Moonscars, Black Mermaid Humble Games 2022. Crafted from clay and bone, the warrior Grey Irma finds herself in a ruined world with one purpose: finding her creator, the mysterious sculptor, in Moonscars by Black Mermaid. Irma is a member of a race of immortal soldiers who swap vessels when defeated. As Irma, you explore a dark fantasy realm plagued by madness. You can converse with other abandoned clay constructs who share their own tragic perspectives on the sculptors driving the themes of transhumanism and the relationship between art and their artists. Honestly, the story is very reminiscent of Expedition 33, so if you wanted more of that existential horror, I recommend Moonscars. In combat, attacking fills your Ichor gauge, which you can use to cast witchery spells or heal yourself. A cool thing this game does is when you activate a checkpoint, you craft a new body for yourself, but then you'll have to defeat your old body if you want to recover your witchery. The art style is dark and moody, inspired by Dutch oil painting styles. It's mostly grays and blacks, accentuated with bright reds and greens, crafting a very dark and unforgiving world. Metroidvanias come in many shapes and sizes, and they can each focus on different aspects of the formula to create different gameplay experiences. From games that have amazing stories and atmospheres to puzzle-based games to games with gruelingly difficult combat, there's something for everybody in this genre. Metroidvanias are more popular than ever, and I can't wait to see what new innovations will come out before this craze eventually dies down.